BBVA Greenfluencers, a BBVA podcast.
Driving joint action for a resilient future. Episode 32. We explore how sustainability is shaping the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank's approach to sustainable infrastructure finance. Our colleague, Nicolás Trillo, Head of Public Finance Asia, is joined by Mr. Ajay Bhushan Pandey, Vice President for Investment Solutions at the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, who tells us about how sustainability is embedded across decision-making, risk management, and financial reporting, strengthening transparency and resilience while addressing climate-related risks and opportunities. A clear example of how sustainability drives long-term impact and inclusive growth.
Hello and welcome to a new edition of BBVA Greenfluencers. Through this series, we highlight our most trusted partners, those leading the transition toward a more sustainable, innovative and inclusive future. And today, it's a real honor to be with Mr. Ajay Bhushan Pandey, Vice President of Investment Solutions at the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, or AIIB, in a building that has earned several prestigious green certifications. So, Ajay, thank you for welcoming BBVA. So, Ajay, let's start from the very beginning. AIIB was built as a multilateral for the 21st century, and that way integrate sustainability across its business and operations. So what inspired AIIB to release its first sustainability report, and why did you decide to apply ISSB standards?
If you see 21st century, the infrastructure is particularly very, very important for the emerging economy, middle income countries and low income countries. Because it is something, infrastructure is something which is going to drive growth as well as create employment. Now, question is that when you are building infrastructure, then what happens to the climate? What happens to the sustainability? And these concepts are extremely important, and therefore AIIB, when AIIB was formed, just look at this, that in its articles of association, the article 1 says that the sustainable economic development by investing in infrastructure and other productive sectors. And our mission is that infrastructure for tomorrow. If you see, we have 4 thematic priorities: green infrastructure, technology enabled, and private capital mobilization and regional connectivity. And so on these principles, AIIB was formed, that AIIB will not only do the infrastructure, but the sustainable infrastructure. And when we are talking about the sustainable infrastructure, we also decided that, of course, majority of our financing will go towards the climate, but also will maintain a very high environment and social standards, ENS standards. So if you look at the sustainability, the entire sustainability development, sustainability reporting development, it has a very essential component. Component is that the general requirement, that environment and social, and also the climate. And just now I explained to you that these are climate and ENS, they are the part of the gene of AIIB. So when we were already doing it for the last 10 years, then we thought that when this opportunity came, and when the IFRS Foundation and ISSB in June 2023, when it came out with the first set of standards, S1 and S2, and 2024 was the first year where these reports could have been prepared. So we voluntarily, we don't have any such legal requirement, but we voluntarily adopted and said that we will publish our first report and 2024, and that report was published in 2025. And so therefore, in fact, AIIB is one of the first MDBs to go for a voluntary adoption of this ISSB standards, and we have come out with the report.
Okay, so indeed, Ajay, the report means transparency. So transparency is central to everything you do at the bank, and even your president in the report calls that transparency is the heart of sustainability. So how does that mindset create value for your investors, members, and the broader community?
This is very important question that you have asked. That if we are doing sustainability, and if we are claiming that we are for sustainability, all our operations are oriented towards sustainability. But the question is that where is the transparency? Because people in this world, they can claim, and then the reality could be very different. So even though we were doing it, and the question when the opportunity arose that can we publish it and declare to the whole world, to our investors, creditors and lenders, and so therefore this transparency becomes very, very important, because if we are very clear that if we are doing it, then we might as well use the transparency to convey it to our ecosystem, that is the lenders, investors, creditors, to say that look, this is what we are doing, so that they have a chance to look at those figures and judge. Not only this year, again next year also we'll be publishing our report, and so that they can make a comparison that which direction we are going. So the reason was that these standards should be applied and should be reported so that it enhances transparency and trust, because trust becomes very, very important, and then also it is interoperable and it is a comparable. So I think all these factors are very, very important if your operations are sustainability aligned.
Yes, that's truly impressive, Ajay. So when it comes to the accountability, transparency, your operations is beyond your external operations. So I am sure that you are also applying this sustainability standard inside the bank, inside the AIIB. So maybe could you share some examples of what you are doing internally at the bank?
Yeah, so first let me tell you that what we are doing externally. See, if we are our entire operation, it is the part of our corporate strategy. The corporate strategy actually required that our climate finance will achieve 50% by the end of 2024. However, 2025. However, we exceeded this figure, and in 2024, our achievement was that 67% of our investment was towards climate finance, 67%, whereas the requirement was 50% by 2024. So we not only achieved the target 1 year ahead, we exceeded this target. So this is our climate finance. The energy which comes here, the entire energy comes through the green energy. And we also have, the solar system installed here. So in that sense, if you are trying to tell the world and reports that all your operations are sustainability aligned, then the charity should begin at home. And this is exactly what the AIIB has done, that its own operation, this building you have seen, this own building, and including our own infrastructure, and many of these things are all sustainability aligned. In fact, in 2024, we had a annual meet in Samarkand, Uzbekistan, and that also, because normally in such international event, the people tend to ignore this sustainability and the climate aspect or the emission aspect. So what we did, that we got it. Even that one also was as per the ISO standard, and all these things are auditable and verifiable. So in short, our operations are aligned towards the sustainability as well as our internal operations.
Clearly, transparency is embedded across AIIB own operations and external operations. And after the first sustainability report being released, what is next for AIIB now? What does the process look like going forward from here?
See, in the first sustainability report, if you can see, I mean, that's the beginning. And the IFRS, the ISSB standard S1 and S2. So what we have done, that in S1 we have reported about which talks about the general requirement of sustainability. So our entire E&S social framework, we have reported that what we are doing. And then so far as the S2, ISSB, IFRS, S2 requirements are concerned, we have also reported. And in terms of how much is our climate finance, how much goes toward the mitigation, how much goes towards the adaptation. Plus also very important, because in the ISSB S2 standards, there is also about the greenhouse emission, greenhouse gas emission, GHG. And there is a scope 1, a scope 2 and a scope 3. So we have made all these calculations. Basically, a scope 1 and a scope 2 are mostly related to your internal operations. And so far as the scope 3 is concerned, this is down the value chain, that the investment that we make, how much is the greenhouse, right? So we have made a very, very detailed calculations, and on that basis, and also we did this materiality, because that also becomes very, very important. So based on that, we have reported those figures, and those figures would be something to compare with in our future reports. So this is what we have done, and also we did some scenario analysis that it requires that the risk. Let's say, so what we did 2 analysis, 2050. By 2050, supposing if the world sticks to the current policy, then in that particular case, how will it impact the operation of AIIB? What will be the risk? What will be the expected credit loss? Those calculations were made. Also, if let us say, if the world moves towards the net zero by 2050, then what will be the impact of the investments made by AIIB? And I'm glad to share this, that we did this analysis, scenario analysis, and we found that our operations are so much sustainability oriented, and we are already taking care of those aspects. In both the scenarios, the impact on the the financials of AIIB is very, very minimal. Is that what next? So in the next, this is the beginning, as I said, and now we are going to add more indicators. And also, there are, like for example, if you're talking about the greenhouse gas emissions or even the S2 requirements, those requirements are there, and therefore we are going to add more and more indicators. Existing indicators, we are also going to refine them so that the investors, creditors and lenders, they get more informed views about the operation of AIIB, and also it will give them a chance to compare AIIB from year to year, and also compare that with our peers. It is also very important that the multilateral development bank should actually be having in fact I am the firm view that multilateral development bank, because we across the countries, our investments are at this point of time are more than 38 countries, and we are also working with the private sectors and then the government. S1 and S2 requirement, and then the GHG for our investments, then naturally, all our the clients, whether they are the governments or the private companies, they also will be incentivized to adopt these sustainability standards. So in that sense, the MDBs like AIIB adopting these standards actually will act like a catalyst that you start, and then all others will follow. And this is exactly with this view in mind, AIIB decided to go for these reportings.
Well, thank you, Ajay. This has been an inspiring conversation and an excellent look into the AIIB First Sustainability Report. So I would like to congratulate you on this achievement and on your leadership in advancing sustainability across the region. At BBVA, we are proud to support your drive to go further and together build a more inclusive and sustainable future. And today, we would like to recognize your leadership on sustainability by giving you this BBVA Green Influencer Award. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Influencer.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
For more contents, follow us on LinkedIn, write BBVA Corporate and Investment Banking, and visit our website www.bbvaciv.com.